Hey guys, Matt here with a quick teaching video. I literally just got off the phone with this seller and I wanted to process this with you. This is over one of my all-time favorite topics, which is creative deals. All right, this is how I cut my teeth in the investment game, is doing creative deals. I find that people often fall in the ditch on one of the two sides when it comes to putting together a deal. On the one side, they think that they have to have a real estate agent. But let me just tell you, that's complete BS. That's what the real estate lobbying group wants you to think, that you need them, but you don't. You can do a deal on the back of a napkin, right? On the other side, these investors use the traditional formula of 0.7 minus repairs, and they completely turn off any potential seller. So the traditional one is you take the R, you times it by 0.7, you come up with a number, right? So let's just say this is your number. Then you subtract out the repairs, right? And then that equals your buy number, right? And all that's true. Like, I would love to buy off of that every time, but that's not always possible. In fact, this seller told me, hey, people are giving me these lowball offers and I just hung up on them. I stopped calling them back. And so when I talked to him, I knew that I had to use a creative solution. And so let me walk it through real quick. So he owes $167,000 on his property. And so what I said to him was, would you be open to me giving you a guarantee? So you're gonna make this guarantee no matter what. He wanted $250,000, but that doesn't work. The house needs too much work. It's been 4 years since anyone lived there. Him and his wife were gonna renovate the house when they bought it and then live there, but they started having kids and then they kind of outgrew the house. Then they moved to a city down the road and no one's lived there for 4 years. So it's a half renovated house. It needs a ton of work, a lot of deferred maintenance. So $250,000 was nowhere close to any number that I could offer or any investor. But what I said to him was, would you consider taking $190,000? I'll just say this is my promise, all right? So that equals a $23,000 net to him just right off the rip. And so he's like, okay, well, tell me more. And then I started to unpack it and I said, well, okay, I'll take all the risk. Your house needs about $50,000 worth of renovations. I'll put up the $50,000. I'll bring my crews in. We'll plow through this thing in about 4, maybe 5 weeks. We'll get it back on the market and then maybe we can split the net. And he said, well, let me walk through the numbers. Show me a little bit more. And so here's just a quick breakdown. The house, when it's all the way done, I think is worth $350,000. So let me just walk through what we're gonna pay him, right? So we're gonna pay him the $23K. That's kind of, I'm just calling it my promise to him, right? And then there's probably a 2.5% that I gotta pay to the real estate agent. That equates to about $8,750. That's the buyer side when I go to sell it. I'll list it because I'm a broker, I'm an agent, but I'll just charge a flat fee. I'll just say it's, listing fee. You can't always do that if you're not an agent, but I just charge that. And then it's my $50,000 and that's just the rehab. So when you add all that up, I graduated from Ohio Public Schools, so don't hold math against me. In fact, I have a lawsuit against my high school for graduating me. So when you add all that up, it comes to about $250,000. But remember, I think it's worth about $350,000, which leaves about a $100,000 spread. And so what we agreed to is, at closing, when all this happens, all this will get paid off. So at closing, he'll make his $23,000. At closing, I'll make my $50,000. I'll get my $50,000 back that I put in renovations, and then we'll split the profits. And so what that does to him is the $23,000 plus the $50,000, right? That gives him a $73,000 net. Whereas any other investment offer is gonna put him at like a $20,000 net. So this is a huge win for him. And it's also a huge win for me because I get my $50,000 back, but I'm also gonna make about $49,000, $50,000 on the deal. I might be able to sell it for a little bit more. We didn't add in the closing cost for the buyer. In my market, we don't always end up paying the closing cost, but that might make the number go up or down. Either way, it's still a huge win-win. We both walk away ahead. He's happy, I'm happy. In fact, he got off the phone with me, he called his wife, they called me back and was like, yes, yes, and yes. And so we're putting the deal together, but I just wanna tell you, this is how powerful real estate investing can be if you think outside of the box. Don't be locked into how it's always been done. Again, it can be done on the back of a napkin. So drop some comments, let me know what you think. Just put that together today. Look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you.